Hello and welcome to tonight's coverage live. We're on Ghana land tonight, as always, of course. We're at Jack Smith Park for tonight's clash between Croydon Kings and MetroStars for Indigenous Round. I'm your match commentator, Lucas Ronaldo. First up, I'm joined, of course, by Football SA Hall of Famer Mark Tablett.
Welcome. Thanks for having me. Exciting night.
Also alongside me is Johnny Kiko, who will be our boundary rider tonight.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a nice chilly night on the pitch, I think.
And it's going to be a very even contest to expect. Croydon coming into it, only won one of their last five, whereas Metro, of course, won four of their last five. Got to give the Metro the edge, you would think.
Yeah, Metro definitely the form side going into the game. But Croydon have got a great defence, so it's going to be tough breaking them down.
And it is almost a Travis Dodd derby of sorts, fitting an Indigenous Round, of course, probably our most decorated Indigenous player in South Australian football history. Travis was the assistant coach at Metro, finished his coaching career there, now in the dugout for Croydon, of course.
Yes, it's a big one, and also they named the medal for the best player on the field tonight, the Travis Dodd medal, so it's a big achievement for him to be have that named after him, and I think it's going to be a big game between the two as well, because they've had a lot of rivalry between the two.
And do you think, Mark, as well, that tactically the fact that Travis was a coach under Robbie could play into this at all?
No, I don't think so. I think they've both got their own styles, and so they'll bring their own thing into the game.
In terms of the teams as well, Luke Klimek is on the bench. He's been out with COVID. Any other change that we're seeing from the lines?
Yeah, so Croydon have got a change at right back. They've got a young debut, I believe, tonight for what everyone calls him Inter. Surname's quite difficult to pronounce from what I hear, so we'll call him Inter for the night, I think. But Metro are pretty much a settled lineup.
And in terms of Croydon, Deon Kirk tends to sort of play as that false nine. Do you expect any other sort of surprises from him?
No, I think we'll have a good game here tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how they're all going to play together, especially with Martinello as the captain here tonight, in place of Klimek as well. It's going to be a few surprises from both Croydon here tonight, and I think we'll see an interesting game from the home team after winning 2-1 earlier in the year as well against Metro.
And as well tonight, as well as having the Travis Dodd medal, we'll also have special edition Indigenous kits for both sides. Croydon's, I believe, designed by Alia Stevens. MetroStars, I'll get the name there, Shakia Maron, who is actually part of the MetroStars Indigenous Football Academy, funnily enough set up by Travis Dodd. It is great to see this sort of exposure and the efforts that Football South Australia is going to involve the Indigenous athletes of South Australia. Oh,
it's fantastic. We can just only hope that in the future we can bring it in across every team, because it's a lot of effort to get it across to every team. I know Adelaide Hills did one a couple of weeks ago, but no, if we can get it, once the Federation can get that right on side and get all the teams involved, it'd be great.
I believe Shakia Maron as well said that the design, which we'll see in a short time for MetroStars, was inspired by emu footsteps, and that it's bringing people in the same direction, which is a nice meaning behind the kit. So we'll have a look at them once they're out on the park.
Absolutely, and I love the idea because emus can't walk backwards, so that's the whole meaning behind that as well. And it's good to see that SASTA were involved in that as well, the South Australian Aboriginal Training Association, so that they're absolutely involved in that to bring the kits for both of them, design them both.
And as well as that, we mentioned that the battle in the dugouts between the two coaches. Johnny, a short time ago, you caught up with Travis Dodd and Robbie Saraceno.
I'm joined by the coach of Croydon FC, Travis Dodd. Mate, thank you so much for joining me. It's a big game here today against MetroStars. You beat them earlier in the season, 2-1 away from home. You got them at home today, coming off a 1-0 loss to Adelaide City. What are you guys doing ahead of today's game? Any changes?
Yeah, look, our form hasn't been, in terms of results, hasn't been great over the last few weeks, but the performances have been positive. So that's that's the good thing to come out of those games. Last week against Adelaide City, I thought the boys did very, very well. Deserved to get something out of the game, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Tonight, we've got a couple of changes forced through sickness, so it's one of those things. That's the reason you have a squad to bring players in and give them opportunities. So we've got a young player coming in, 17 years old, for his debut. So what a game to make it.
Absolutely, and also on the bench is Luke Klimek. If he comes on today at some point, it'll be his 350th game. Do you reckon we'll see him coming on later on, or he's coming off COVID as well?
He is. He hasn't trained. He's only trained once in almost 2 weeks. So it's at this stage more to have him around, involved with the squad, because he is our club captain and he is such an influential person within the playing group. So it's important to have him there to speak to the players. Whether or not he comes on, we'll just see how the game pans out.
And it's a big game, Indigenous Round today, and for yourself as well, being an Indigenous, being involved in the Indigenous community as well with coaching, how important is today's game for you?
No, it's fantastic that the clubs can come together and have rounds like this to acknowledge Indigenous culture, and it's great to be here to start conversations, learning about shared histories and just promoting the game for not only the Indigenous community but the game in general.
And also, just to mention, the winner of the today's best player of the game will be awarded the Travis Dodd medal. How important is that for you as well, to have that medal named after you?
Yeah, that's very special to have something named after me. I'm very proud of that. So I just hope tonight that it's a Croydon player that wins it.
Absolutely. And lastly, you're coaching against a fellow coach yourself. You were assistant coach with Robbie back in the day at MetroStars. How much is that rivalry between the both of you?
Yeah, look, we're really great mates. We're best mates, and we've had a couple of conversations already today. A bit of mind games where we're trying to play with each other. But look, it's always good to come up against friends and an old club. We've got a lot of great friends here, not only within the playing group but off the field as well within the club. So it's great that they still support me, but tonight, once the whistle goes, we all want 3 points.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Travis. I better let you go. That was Travis Dodd, the head coach of Croydon FC. I'm joined by the head coach of MetroStars here, Robbie Saracino. Mate, you're coming off the back of 2 home wins, both 2-0, and you're here against Croydon FC that you lost against earlier in the season. How big is this game, and how have you been preparing?
Oh, look, I think it's a big game. I mean, they're all big games at this stage of the season. We've been a little bit inconsistent, I suppose, over the year, but hopefully tonight we can string another win, in our pocket and continue our form.
And tonight is Indigenous Round for the 2 clubs here tonight. You guys do a lot of work with the Indigenous community, yourself as well with Travis Dodd. How important is it for the boys to play in a game like this and be able to represent the Indigenous community? Yeah,
look, the boys are super proud. Metro runs a program with SASTA, which gives children an opportunity to develop their sports while getting an academic sort of tertiary. I suppose it's big for the fact that not just for this game, but it's recognising a diverse culture, that it's the oldest culture going around, and hopefully today we can actually make it proud.
Absolutely, mate. And you're also with our Fabian Barbiero tonight again for the second round. How you guys been able to make do with that change to the squad?
Yeah, luckily, look, we've got a pretty strong squad at the moment with not many injuries. Fabian missed last week, and young Arieth Piol came in and did a really good job, and he'll play again tonight.
You and Travis go way back, and been coaching together at Metro before he came here and took off the full-time gig here at Croydon FC. How's that rivalry going between the both of you? Because you said there is a little bit of a rivalry between the both of you, but what about for your end of it?
Yeah, look, there's a bit of banter going on between us two. Look, I wish him all the best. He's his own coach in his own right, developed his own style at Metro, and now taking it away to Croydon. They're playing some really good football. We'll have a bit of a drink after to see who gets the bragging rights.
Absolutely, mate. All the best tonight. Hopefully you guys get the win. You lost 2-1 earlier in the season, but all the best in tonight's game, mate.
Thank you very much.
That was the head coach of MetroStars, Robbie Saracino.
Thanks for that, Johnny. We're almost ready for kick-off here. Of course, a big weekend coming up of football. We'll have a quick run through last week's results that we had. We had some stunning results, didn't we, Mark? guess the one that jumps off the page, Adelaide United beat South Adelaide 8-0.
Yeah, that was a big win. I watched most of that game, and Souths were in it. Even at half-time, they were 2-0 down, they were still in it, and then all of a sudden, a few quick goals, and that was game over. It was just damage limitation for them.
And then, as well as that, these two sides, Adelaide City, of course, beat Croydon 1-0. Irabona scoring the penalty. In the end, Croydon, with the form they've been in, coming up against this brilliant Adelaide City side, it's probably not the worst result, is it?
No, it wasn't the worst result by any stretch. They did push City all the way, and it was a penalty that decided it.
Conversely, MetroStars, they knocked off Campbelltown 2-0, really compounding Campbelltown's week. A horrible week for them in the east of Adelaide.
Yeah, it wasn't a good week for them, but Metro were good against Campbelltown. I thought Campbelltown might, coming off that loss in the cup, I thought they might come out and really get the win, but Metro just went for it and come away with 3 points.
Looks like we're about to have the two sides come out. Of course, we've got more football this weekend. Cumberland v Adelaide City, Sturt v Commonwealth, South Adelaide v Bacalla, and Campbelltown versus Beograd. Or tomorrow, Olympic versus Adelaide United. That one's been postponed until the end of the month. There's a few of the substitutes make their way across. Might have a quick run through of the lineups for you shortly. There are a few surprises. You see teams just a few of the subs in the tunnel. It is a very, very cold night here at Jack Smith Park. Robbie Saraceno just at the bottom of your screen there. Of course, in many ways a mentor to Travis Dodd in a coaching sense. And those are our first look at the Croydon kits designed by, I believe she's 16 years old, Alia Stevens. And then Metro, the black design, designed by Shakiara Maron. Just have to have a quick run through the lineups then. For MetroStars, they'll start on a 4-3-3. It'll be Osby at the back, Jackson Walls, Henderson, Blafari, and Davis at left back. Solania in midfield with Woodford and Gao. Esposito and Pio on the wings with Nagamatsu up front. And for Croydon Kings, it'll be John Hall and goal. Makeda's a late change for John Panagaros at right back. He's out with the flu, with Rosali and Clark at centre back. As a debutant at left back, Thonga Sistavat in midfield. We will see Karachia play as the number 10, Neon Kudu in behind him, and also Martinello dropping deep. Trimboli and Stephanopoulos out wide with Dion Kirk once again as that false 9. Now we'll have plenty of ceremonies before kick-off here, as we mentioned, in light of Indigenous Round.
So once again, I'd like to thank both teams for being out here tonight and giving us the opportunity to share in this ceremony, one of the oldest continuing ceremonies in the world. The land of the Bedouin today is the land of the Bana people. This is the dream place of the big red kangaroo. And saying that, I'd like to sing a song. It's a bit where we call upon the good spirit of our ancestors to come here, bless this land, and bless each and every one of us. It's mighty power, the piano, the good spirit for the ancestors.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. A very moving ceremony pre-game here. Now we move on to the football, of course, and we'll just take you through another run of the lineups for these two sides in this Indigenous round. For Croydon Kings, John Hall starts in goal. It's Makeda at right back with Brazali and Clark at centre back. Thong Sisavat, you see, he doesn't even have a number in our graphic. He will be number 12, but he is a late one in. It's his debut tonight. Martinello, Nyonkuru and Caraccio will start in midfield. Dion Kirk, Trimboli and Stephanopoulos up front. Dion Kirk often operating as that false nine. On the bench, Luke Klimek could be in line for game number 350, we believe, tonight. Maybe not in the circumstances he would have imagined. He's been such a stalwart for this club, hasn't he?
Oh, definitely. And when you get to that many games at all for one club, you know that he's just a special player.
And there's Travis Dodd, of course, a former MetroStars man. He's up against Robbie Saraceno in the dugout tonight. And this is the team that Robbie has selected. Luke Osby starts in goal with Davis starting at left back, of course, recently passed his 300th game against Olympic. It's got a brace in that one. Paul Blafari and Tim Henderson start in the middle of defence with Walls at right back. Solania will start in midfield with Gao and Woodfin, with Piol, Esposito and Nagamatsu as the front three. And Ren Nagamatsu has been in fine form this season. 5 goals since arriving at the start of this campaign, all headers.
Yeah, he's dangerous in the air. He's tall, he works hard. But in saying that, he's scored 5, but he hasn't scored for a couple of rounds. And in of the 5 goals, he's scored 2 braces. So we'll see if he can find his form tonight and get another goal. Piol's another one that scored 4 goals for Metro, so he's coming with some good form.
Yep, Nagamatsu hasn't scored a goal since 30th of April against Bacala in that 1-0 win. Will be a threat off of set pieces. Last week, as we mentioned, a 2-0 win over Campbelltown with Solania and Woodfin on the score sheet that day, as we see the two skippers toss the coin. Our officials tonight, our referee will be Isabella Bleas, with our assistant referees Henry Day and Andrew Kite. Almost set to kick off round 14 of the NPL season. And Mark, it's really hotting up especially in that sort of upper half of the table.
It is, and it leads for an exciting lead into the finals. We've passed the halfway mark of the season, so it does lead into the finals with a lot to play for quite a few clubs. I mean, Adelaide City are out in front, but the rest of the clubs there, it's quite exciting.
Adelaide City still untouchable on top of the league, as Croydon prepare to kick us off for round 14 of this National Premier League's SA season. Start of this Indigenous round, live from Croydon's temporary home at Jack Smith Park. Hopefully we'll be able to see them in their new ground sooner rather than later.